is Bush Intercontinental Airport in my hometown of Houston, Texas. And over there on the right is me. I and 1,500 other people helped jam that airport and shut it down in opposition to Trump's Muslim ban in January of 2017. It was one of hundreds of protests that I planned before, and I've participated in hundreds more. And today I want to share my cheat sheet on how you can plan a protest. I'm Daniel J. Cohen, and this is the Protest Playbook. Every protest starts with the same thing, a demand. A demand is the thing that you actually want to materialize or actualize. So you see in the photo here, Texans demand a clean DREAM Act, the DREAM Act being a piece of immigration legislation, but you can call for anything, a resignation, confirmation, support, or abolition of a program, whatever it is. From there, you want to figure out who you need to pressure to bring your demand to life. This is your target. Target can be a politician, and it commonly is, but it could be the dean of a university, it could be a company, it could be a department, it can be literally anything. Whatever it is or whoever it is that you need to target to bring your demand to life. Now, once you have a target, you need to gather some intelligence, learn what makes them tick, how they make up their minds, and what their interlocking relations are between the public and private sector players in your community. As you're gathering that intelligence, you're going to learn more about how to apply the pressure necessary to make your demand real. You're probably going to come up with some terrain as you're gathering that intelligence as well, which is where you hold your protests. If an oil company is funding a war and you want to stop that war, then terrain that makes sense might be in front of their corporate headquarters or at their shareholders meeting or on the sidewalk in front of the CEO's house. There's really all types of terrain that could possibly make sense. And it all depends on accessibility, symbolism, availability of the press, whether or not there's a big meeting. So many different things go into deciding where you're going to hold your action. Digital environments, of course, are very accessible and have been very, very, very popular too. Along with picking a place, you also have to pick a time. Just keep in mind that the times when people can show up aren't necessarily the time that the news would prefer to show up and cover your protests. And that's in terms of both your days of the week, as well as the times of day when action's actually going to happen. Now you've got a time, you've got a place, you got a target, you got a demand. It's time to pick a program. So you need to figure out, are you holding a vigil detention center? Are you sending a mariachi to John Cornyn's office? Whatever it is that you're actually doing, you need to figure out the logistics for. If you're planning a protest with other people, and you should be, then there's probably somebody else out there. In fact, many somebody else's who also care about the same demand that you do. These groups that you see here work on policing issues in Houston, and they can all work together and fight together on those issues. Once you have all that in order, you need to make sure that you understand which side of the law you're on different aspects. Could be permits, could be noise, could be anything else. So you need to talk to a lawyer. There are a lot of radical lawyers that are going to help you for free, but make sure that you have one and that you're getting your advice directly from someone who's qualified to give it to you. Then make a checklist of all logistics, accessibility, layout, etc. If you're planning a surprise, figure that out. If it's outdoor, account for sound, weather, traffic, and make a map for people so they know what's going on. Also, do you need porta potties, bathroom, etc. Now, you're going to need to scope the place and have eyes and ears out, have a game plan for agitators and liaisoning with police. Again, there are varying philosophies on how best to do all of this, and I recommend that you consult with a lawyer and maybe other people as well. Remember to account for first aid too. Someone has to be running the program and all this, leading chants, making sure speakers are introduced, projecting images on the building, handing out candles, whatever it is that you need to do to actually run the program itself and the focal point of the action. There's also usually an art build before protests, and that's when you all create signs to carry the demand forward. Art builds can be a part of the action, or they can actually be the majority of the action itself. Signs are really timeless, as are costumes. As you can see here, I've dressed as Kermit the Frog in the past. I've also dressed as a zombie and a billionaire. You also need to work your communications angles. So plan before, during, and after the protests to hold interviews, plan before the action to send out a press release, anything to get your message out, and make sure that you train for the interview and that you're hammering home the demand. Remember, all these components are going to blend and overlap. So the art is going to enhance the communications because you'll have good visuals. Outreach is going to enhance the logistics because people will be better informed about where to go and what to do, etc. Protest is more art than science, though, so really all of this is just a template. Occupy Wall Street, for example, wasn't based on a coalition at all. Just a couple people that put a poster together of a girl standing on a bull, and all it said was Occupy Wall Street, bring tent. So actions can be as small as a couple of people. Finally, remember that a protest is only one type of activism, and there's all kinds of ways to get involved and be part of a larger effort to make social change. And the better you understand and practice and leverage the art of political pressure, the better you'll know the right way to protest and when to protest. Protest is our right. And when we don't exercise our rights, we lose them. So exercise protest. Stand up for a cause, press your demand, make your target sweat, raise a ruckus, and tell me about it at protestplaybook.com. Thank you.